All right, counterpunch boxing. Okay, look, today I want to talk about Gennady Golovkin and the power behind the punches, okay? And look, this is science. I mean, this cannot be argued, cannot be debated. I mean, this is like scientific proof. And at the end, I'll tell you who, comparatively speaking, who I think, he hits as hard as. So, and I've talked a lot about this, where does the power come from? With Gennady Golovkin, he knows how to use his body, okay? He knows how to use kinetic energy. He knows how to use momentum. Everything goes into his punch. He throws it the proper way, and that's where a lot of the power comes. Well, he is a natural hard hitter. I mean, he has a God-given gift, really. I mean, he's cut from a different cloth. He hits like a truck. He really does. That's why you have these guys out there, claiming that he hits as hard as like a light heavyweight. And, according to guys that he's actually sparred with, I mean, they'll tell you firsthand account, not secondhand, thirdhand information, but firsthand that he hits as hard as a heavyweight. Kovalev, even Sergey Kovalev, he said, yeah, he hits harder than I can. He hits harder than me. So. And I want to make the video and kind of compare it to Canelo's power, at the end. But like I said, he knows how to use his whole body as momentum in order to get the most power out of his punches. So. And really, look, it starts at your knee. It goes from your knee to your hip, to your shoulder, to your elbow, to your glove. I mean, it's just this one kinetic force, energy, movement, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of it starts at the hips, okay? 37 and 33, 37 wins, 33 knockouts. Right now, a lot of you know, but in case you don't, he has the highest knockout percentage in middleweight history. It's like 91.8, something like that. He was in the Guinness Book of World Records. And this is why. This is like the secret behind the power right here. We're going to talk about it today because a lot of people out there are like, oh, it's PEDs, it's this, oh, he can't. He's a hype job, whatever. But this is scientific proof, undeniable proof. Okay, I mean, like I said, it cannot be argued. Well, look, let me, I wasn't going to mention this, but let me throw this in here. Whenever I'm showing a guy how to properly throw a punch, let's say you're an orthodox, I tell them, you want your lead foot planted and you want to be on the ball of your foot in the right. It's kind of like, think about Manny Pacquiao when he throws that left right down the middle. What does he do? I mean, all that momentum from the hip to the shoulder, the hip to the shoulder, the elbow, the wrist to the glove to the target, and then he falls into it. And if you notice his back foot, he's on the ball of his foot, and then he'll lift it off the ground, and all of that energy, bam, right onto the target. And that's what Gennady Golovkin does. But he doesn't really raise his back foot; he'll just kind of twist it. But like a Pacquiao, I mean, he will he'll fall into the shot, which gives him more power. But at a lower division, I understand why he does that. But it's a kinetic chain of energy is what it is. I mean, you're creating this kinetic chain, and then you're adding your body weight and your momentum and your muscle, just your natural power. It's a combination of things, and then ultimately that determines what kind of puncher you are. But like a pro golfer, it starts at the hips. Now, Gennady Golovkin right here, just next time you're watching a Golovkin fight, watch the hips. I mean, you'll see he'll twist his hips into the punch, and it's at 240 degrees per second. That's incredible. I mean, that's absolutely incredible. And like a normal guy is probably half that speed. And like I said, it's that kinetic chain right here. You can see it goes from the knee to the hip to the shoulder, to the elbow, and then to the wrist. And you'll see how I said he's got his lead foot planted, and the back foot right here, he's on his toe or the ball of his foot. So he'll rotate from the ball onto the tip of his toe, and he'll use the toe of his shoe to keep him from kind of like dragging it so he doesn't go forward, and then he'll dip out. And that's how he creates his power. Okay, shoulder rotation right here, 980 degrees per second. That's crazy. That's like a baseball player. Look, a baseball player is about 1,000 degrees per second hitting a home run. Keep that in mind. This is a professional baseball player. When they hit, they smack the ball, hit a home run, it's at 1,000 degrees per second. Gennady Golovkin, his shoulder rotation is comparable to that. I mean, that's crazy. The peak force, okay, the right hook over 2,100 pounds of force. Now, if a lot of you know your numbers, which maybe some of you do, like I just mentioned, that kinetic chain of energy and creating that the kinetic chain, you'll know that's what a light heavyweight hits at. Okay, go look at any kind of scientific study, and they're on YouTube. You can find them of a light heavyweight, and their right hook is 2,000 or more, and that's if they're a power puncher. Okay, if they're not known as so much of a power puncher, it's under 2,000 pounds. Okay, now, I mean, that there it is right there, scientific proof. And I think his left, if you notice, I think Gennady Golovkin has just as much power in both hands, okay? I think maybe the left might not be quite, I'd say maybe 1,800, but regardless, you need about half that to knock someone out if you hit them, you know, if you hit the target right. And here we go. He hits as hard as a light heavyweight. And look, they use electrodes, scientific equipment to measure this, you know, high-speed cameras. You know, he's hooked up. He's got all these little sticky pads all over him. I mean, this is science, okay? I mean, this is proof. The dude hits as hard or harder than most light heavyweights. So, you know, that's crazy. And like I said, you got Kovalev that said, you know, it's on YouTube. He's like, yeah, he hits harder than me, you know? And he admits it. Now, another thing, when you add punches per round right here, Gennady Golovkin throws 20 averages 20 more punches per round than any middleweight in history. Okay, so you know he lets his hands go, and that's important. That's real important in this Canelo fight. So look, when you add that over 2,000 pounds, the hip rotation, the shoulder rotation, and then he's throwing over 20% more than any middleweight history. You know, per round. That's crazy. That's crazy. Because look, Golovkin right here, 27.5, and the middleweight average. This is overall, you know, 16.8. So, I mean, shit, that's nearly, that's a lot. That's a lot. Okay, hand speed. So now we talked about the kinetic energy. We talked about the hip rotation, the shoulders. We talked about all this, just the natural, you know, ability, or you know, he's basically a born power puncher. Okay, I mean, something like, I think like a Pacquiao or like a Tyson. You know, they're just born heavy hitters. Aaron Pryor. Okay, these are just naturally hard hitting dudes. So but when you add the hand speed, he goes from 0 to 28.5 miles per hour in 0.125 seconds. That's comparable to a high octane dragster. Okay, I mean, that's fast as shit. So I mean, that's just explosive power with over 2,000 pounds of force behind it. I mean, no one can you know, no one can withhold that. So now, here's what I think. Okay, let me end it here. I don't want to make it too long. Okay, you know, so we just broke it down. All right, we know Golovkin. The debate is over. Okay, he hits like a light heavyweight. What does Canelo hit like? You know, I'm wondering. I'd probably say Canelo hits like a middleweight. You know, I'd say maybe a super middleweight, possibly. Like maybe if he's fresh early in the rounds, you know, and he just throws a perfect punch, connects perfect. But we know Gennady Golovkin can take that. You know, he's got a great chin on top of it. So, you know, when you add all this together, you know, you look at his chin, and he's got a good beard on him. You guys know it. I mean, he's been hit with some good shots by the best, you know, by top 10s out there. So, you know, we know he can take a punch. Oh shit, hang on, my battery's about to die. But, you know, I asked myself the same question about Canelo, and, you know, realistically, to be honest, I think he could probably, I'd say he hits like a middleweight. So, you know, I don't think the power is going to be so much of an issue for Gennady Golovkin. I think it's the activity, you know, who's first, you know, be first, let your hands go. And, you know, he's got to show Canelo early on, you know, he's got to show him early on that he can handle his power, and, you know, he's got to keep active, win rounds, okay? So, and I definitely want to see at least a knockdown. I'm hoping for a knockout, but you know, hey, at least a knockdown. So I don't know, what do you guys think about this? I mean, this is, you know, this is incredible to me. You know, I love when there's like scientific proof. It's not like my opinion and your opinion and he said and she said, and oh, you know, there's a rumor. I mean, this is 100% undeniable proof that Gennady Golovkin hits like a hard-hitting light heavyweight.